the fact that whether you're conservative or a liberal, everybody needs a community space. And for me, that's powerful because I want to bring people together.
Well, what do they make legal? Being able to do a graphic, or where were all the things that are now doable versus not?
Well, it's interesting how it's all played out. So the first thing is that they said, okay, the street surface itself is up for reconsideration. First of all, you can paint, you have to generate your own local graphic. It can't have any corporate logos. It has to be completely original, and it can't have words or symbols. It has to be a completely original idea of maybe, something about your history. Like one neighborhood painted a bunch of wheels and turbines because in their neighborhood, they manufacture wheels and turbines. And as I said, another neighborhood is identified with sunflowers. So they tend to put down things that has to do with their own identity. So that's a huge graphic effect, an artistic exercise. But then on the corners, you can, let's see. In my neighborhood, we have on one corner a solar-powered tea station. So it glows at night, and anybody can walk up to it and get a cup of tea. There's always hot water there on a counter on this little thing that looks like a huge glowing flower at night. And right next to it is a pavilion topped with a living roof and a beautiful skylight on top. And under the pavilion is a giant wraparound bench. So you can get a cup of tea and sit down on the bench under cover, rain or shine. And then both of those features are nestled into edible landscapes. So lots of berries and fruit trees and nut trees. That's one corner. On another corner, you've got another bench that kind of looks like it's from Thailand because we had some Thai people in the neighborhood and who influenced the design. And that's covered with a big glass pavilion overhead. And then literally the first Little Free Library is on that same corner with a fountain. On another corner, there's a big bulletin board with information and kind of systems, a native plant garden, and then a beehive-shaped newspaper dispenser that a bunch of teenagers wanted to make. And on the final corner, a huge kids' clubhouse wrapped around the living tree. It's filled with toys all the time, so kids can come there and just play. And then there's an art and poetry art museum. It's just a little thing, but you open the cabinet doors and you find all of these pictures and poems and stuff inside. So the idea is that, if an American wants to go to a village center with the essential functions of like a cafe effect or a bookstore or a flower store, just to get some stuff, basically to meet other people. Now they can do that by repurposing the right-of-way. Or, no, not really repurposing, diversifying its use. So cars still go through, but they go through respectfully. And everybody in the neighborhood, identifies with that space. So their own behavior locally changes.
Who maintains this? Who raises the money to do all this stuff? I mean, like, what does it cost? Again, how does it get maintained if something needs to be fixed or run?
Yeah, good question. Great question. So it's the people who themselves that live right there. This is the most crazy thing. The people who live right there, they have the power to design it and install it, program it, coordinate all the activities there, and then they also maintain it over time. So this is the craziest thing, but it hasn't been until this moment that a place-based community in the USA actually has authority over the public space right where it lives. That's basically, so I'm partially a historian of the development of the colonial grid itself, going back thousands of years, and I've written a whole bunch about this. My mom's this urban historian, so that sounds a lot like what my dad does, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't guarantee that they get along at all. But about the colonial grid, this is a really big deal. When people live in development grids, those grids come along with people being told that they don't have power where they live to affect anything. It's been a long, long time since people living in a grid actually had the power to affect their own immediate environment. So that's really the stroke of genius, so to speak, of this project, is it really upends the diagram of power, and it makes it so that people can actually have a voice in their own neighborhood directly. And not just by voting, but by saying, let's do this with our kids outside right where we live with other people, and you can just do it. In fact, this is the crazy thing, Richard. The city council has made this so easy now. And the reason they have made it easy is because nothing's going wrong. Vandalism happens less, car accidents happen less, like all this behavior changes. There's no vandalism. The place where I live is where it's been happening the longest, which is 28 years now. There hasn't been a single act of vandalism in all that time.